my Area 51 line. You're on the air. Hello.
Welcome to the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast, where what you've known as reality will be shattered by the truth. Krista and Brandy will lift the veil from your eyes, revealing what has either been hidden or denied you for eons.
Hey, 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 hey.
Hey there, everybody. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Yes. A week ago, we were on the road. We were actually doing the show from Texarkana, weren't we?
Yeah, we were. Can we go back? I mean,
I'd love to.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love to go back. We had a great weekend, though. We really did. And spent it down in Texas and just went to the conference and we did the after party. And then Sunday night, we got to go down out to the woods. And that was fun. So
that was fun. Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
And
you know, but
I was gonna say, you want to talk about the storms?
Yeah, well, you know, I got a call. It's hard to describe. My daughter and my mother were at home, and I got a call from my daughter as soon as we pulled back into Texarkana, coming back. You know, and my daughter was frantic. There was a tornado coming, and you know, she was like, I think she was kind of cussing me. Without saying it, she was saying it. You know?
What did she say to you? Because I think it's funny what she said to you.
She goes, "I wish you would have never left." You know, and I'm kind of like, I can't control the weather. I'm sorry, you know, this, that, and the other, and I'm trying to calm her down.
Well, I thought it was funny.
Right.
Didn't she say, "I'm fighting tornadoes and you're looking for Bigfoot" or something like that?
That was later. That was later when I told her where I was going after, you know, the mess. I'll get to that in a minute.
Right.
Anyway, so she, you know, and just she says, "I hear it coming. I hear the tornado coming." And you could hear the roar through the phone. I mean, you could hear it coming. And then just like that, it was gone. Evidently, it lifted up just a few miles from the house. Mm-hmm. And they could hear the roar up until that point. And they could actually hear it as it went over. Mm-hmm. Which was really crazy. It was minimal damage and, you know, nothing happened to our house or anything, but she was just absolutely beside herself, you know. So then we went into last night where we just had, you know, like severe weather, that severe thunderstorms coming into our area. But then again, we had tornadoes popping like south of us and north of us, nothing too terribly close, 30 miles or so, but they were just popping off and all this other kind of stuff. Well, I had a meeting that's probably about 75, 80 miles from the house that I had to go to today. And boy, I ended up in spaces I didn't went to. Whole complete highways are shut down. Back roads are shut down. Things that they said that were open were shut. And I mean, the mass devastation out there is just crazy, you know, and with everything with Illinois, Indiana, and, you know, I pray for everybody, you know, it's just like, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. It was just devastating. I saw it firsthand this morning and was just in awe.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's very sad. So let's hopefully nothing else comes along bad like that.
Yeah, right. Because now all Krista and I have to worry about is the flooding, because we have rain until Saturday and Sunday. So we just have massive rain. So if I glitch out, I'm really glitchy tonight because I do have thunderstorms moving through. The biggest one is past, but we have a few little ones coming. So hopefully everybody else can carry on as normal.
Yep, we'll be fine. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just bring up our guest. And we'll bring up Heather. And Ann. Hey, hey, hey.
Hi.
Hello. little hi. Hi. So excited.
You guys are fun. So for those of you guys that don't know, that's out there watching in chat, and we have a conference coming up, and both of these ladies are featured speakers.
Yes.
And I'm going to bring up the flyer really, really quick, in case you haven't seen it. I think it's been all over, plastered everywhere, but that is the most current one.
Yeah, I know. And this is the funniest part of it all is we were like, hey, let's just do a little conference. Let's just, have a little something. Let's see what happens, and and Heather were the first on our list. I mean, they were from, we asked them way back. So it was just kind of, let's do something small. Welcome to small, everyone. Welcome to small. Yeah, it didn't turn out that way, but we are excited. We are just beside ourselves about that.
Yes, and so it ends up, it's going to be a really good conference, and we're looking forward to both of you guys coming. Do you guys want to give everybody just a little thing of what you're going to talk about at the conference? Because we have a lot of people in chat who have bought tickets.
Whoa.
Whoa.
You can go ahead, Heather.
Okay, well, I am going to be talking about cursed objects. And may bring a few myself. So props are always good. Show and tell moments.
Show and tell.
Yeah, we'll go back to elementary school here.
Show and tell.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be talking about.
Cool.
That's awesome. It's going to be kind of a lot. It's metaphysical and how everything is connected, but also kind of bridging together the paranormal with psychology.
Yep. Awesome.
There you go. That's that. And that's a deep, tough subject.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that. So, I mean, you guys can't miss, Heather and Ann. You just can't, because it's going to be good. We're going to be haunted. And then Ann's going to, show us how to get out of that.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm excited for sure.
I am too. It was really good to see you this weekend too, Ann.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was so amazing to get to see everybody, especially since, we are, it's public knowledge now since we're relocating from Texas up to New York.
And I never told a soul. Thank you.
We told no one.
Yeah, we wanted to announce it and everything, and so great adventure, and it was amazing to see everybody before we headed out. And so, but we'll see you guys at the conference. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you again there.
Yes, absolutely. And actually, Martin Groves is in chat, and he's also another featured speaker.
Yay!
Oh, nice.
Hello, Martin.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. So we have, thank you, Chris. Chris is awesome.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, appreciate that. If you guys haven't already done so, Chris has a channel, and I will find it here. Go over and subscribe to his channel. He's just getting started and getting out in the woods and stuff. He's a good guy. But you ladies, let's see here. You guys are coming to the conference, and what else you guys got coming up? Working on anything like that?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm going to be, so my first edition of my book has been completely sold out. You can't get it anywhere now. And I'm going to be republishing it. So it's going to have, some more information on it. And plus I am writing a second book, and I'm putting a little bit of the second book in the first book, so you can get a preview. And the second book, of course, is diving into that bridge between the paranormal and psychology. So that's been my baby right now, is just focusing on that second book and my talks and kind of, yeah.
Cool. What about you, Heather?
Well, first I want to say I'm really glad that Lady Ann is moving to New York, because that puts her closer to me. Finally, it's about time. It's about time. Anyway, yeah, no, what's been going on here is just work stuff. Right now,
you guys put out a shit ton of stuff, man. Like New Small Town Monsters. I always got something to watch.
Yeah, we put something out on YouTube once a week, a new thing at least once a week. But lately the big project has been Dogman story is coming out of Michigan. Because that'll be the next thing that's filmed is Dawn of the Dogman. So I've been between two subjects, Dogman in Michigan and then Bigfoot stories out of Ohio, because we're doing Heartland Sasquatch stuff on YouTube as well. So it's been between those two things, and then just, you know, life in general.
I hear you. So let's back up. And I know you guys are friends outside of podcasting. How'd you guys meet? Let's start from the beginning. Go way back.
that would be you, Heather.
Yeah. So I sent a message to her on Facebook. I had come across the Caravan Library of Lore, and I'd come across the Tarot and Lace page and reached out, and we talked. And I think within the first conversation, really, there was, you know what? I really like you. I really like you too. Let's be besties kind of thing. Really, that's about how it went. So
there was like a feeling of like a past life, almost like being sisters, and you know.
Oh yeah, she's in my phone as long lost sister.
Yeah, I have you as Viking sister in mine.
Yeah. So yeah, and then she asked me to join her as a co-host for a while for the Caravan Library Lore, which was great. And then I was able to convince her to come out to Ohio. And so I got to meet her in person. Yeah, for her birthday. So she came out to Ohio, and then our daughters are best friends now. So we literally, if we're not talking online, I can hear her through the computer talking in the background.
Like together.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and the kids are super excited that they're going to be closer too. So yeah, but it started with a message on Facebook. So send messages on Facebook, guys. You never know who you might meet.
Seriously, that is like, because I have good friends like I met through Facebook too. You know, it's weird how you know the internet has broadened our horizons. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Thank you, JL. Appreciate that too. So I know at one time, Heather or Ann, one of you guys told me when you went to Ohio, you guys actually did some ghosting, but didn't you guys do like some Bigfooting and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, we did. We did something like that. Yeah. It wasn't. That was good stuff. Yeah. That was her second trip out here. That we did the Bigfoot stuff. The first time we got to do ghost hunting at a place called Fairfield County Infirmary here in Ohio. And that was a good time. I advised her not to wander off by herself, but the first thing she did was go off by herself. And then the next time I saw her, she has a completely white face, and I'm like, what happened? So she had an experience within the first few minutes of being there. But yeah, the Bigfoot thing happened the second trip she came, which my husband and I had just moved out to Minerva, Ohio, to his family's farm. So she got to see two of my houses, the one that I lived in before, and then the one that I'm in now. And we had only been here maybe 3 weeks, if that. It was right after we moved. And it's an old farmhouse, so we did some ghost investigation here. And then I was like, let's go to the woods and do some stuff, because we've got lots of woods here. And we go to the woods, and long story short, and does not feel comfortable in the woods and has us go out into the field. Doesn't tell me why, by the way. I find this out later. But we go out into the field, and then I say, well, this doesn't really feel like a ghost hunt anymore in an open field, but let's play the Ohio Howl, because the Ohio Howl was recorded in the next county over.
You did that as a surprise. You did not tell me.
So we play the Ohio Howl. Yeah, held up my phone, played it, and we got a response like right away. And We had our friend Travis with us. We had him. He could do that whistle thing, which I can never do, but like the loud whistle.
Yeah.
He could do a whistle. We'd get a whistle back. There were branches breaking, all this stuff happening. And Anne's like, take me back to the house right now.
I'm done. I'm out.
I'm done.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I mean, it was one
Yeah.
of those things where it had started, in the house where there was a lot of response, it felt, when we were doing the Estes method in the living room.
mhm.
And there was, I mean, and to backtrack, it's one of those things where when I first came to visit you, I remember, I mean, it was like I beelined for the kitchen and I asked you for a piece of paper and a pen. You had not told me where we were going for the ghost hunt. Yeah. And,
Right.
and I had saw this area of the building in my head and I started drawing it out. And I remember showing it to you and you guys confirmed that this was a part of the building, but you didn't tell me anything yet. So by the time we got there, I was curious and I wanted to know where this place was. And I thought like, oh, I'm drawn to this. Right. And so I I asked somebody if it was okay if I wandered off and they said, yeah. So then I just, poof, I disappeared. Well, then I make my way all the way down to the basement and I'm standing there and I'm definitely feeling something. And so I try to like start humming because, I'm like, okay, this will comfort me. And then sure enough, it was like, I felt a hand just touch me in the back of my head and my hair. And it sent me, I ran up all however many flights of stairs. I bust through the doors at her and everybody else. Like she said, fail. I'm just like, and that's last, and so, so there was that. So I feel that it's valid when I see certain things in my mind. And at the time, both Heather and I were seeing the same entity shape in our minds when the Estes method was going on and when we were, doing this ghost thing in the house. And I just remember feeling like there was a connection to the woods. And so it was like, okay, well, we need to go out into the woods. And so she, was like, oh, okay, let's go, and so we go out in the woods. We set up all the ghost equipment and everything. And I'm standing there and I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I can feel like there's something around. And I remember seeing something off by a tree. And it was the shadow, and I'm just thinking like it was literally the shape of a traditional Sasquatch, okay? Like head, arm, tree, hand, And I'm like, I'm not out here for you. This is this is not happening. And so I just don't say anything. And then we hear a loud, against
That's what I forgot. I had forgotten about that because we drove a gator up there to that part of the woods. And so it's like an ATV and we heard it. We thought that it slammed the tailgate shut because it was so loud. But when we went over to look, the tailgate was still down. So something had come up and smacked the side of it. Anyway, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah. Well, no. And so, and so I have the flashlight and I'm looking around, and you asked me, you were like, Anne, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I got it. We need to leave. And so you packed everything up and we got out of there and I still didn't say anything. And because I just felt like, I don't know, like I wasn't out there for Bigfoot. I was out there for a totally different reason. There's no way that it's Bigfoot if I'm out there for ghosts. Like it just, and so, so we get out to the field. I'm feeling better. And my lovely, beautiful friend here just decides to raise your phone into the air and play the Ohio Hell. And I'm sitting there in horror as this is going on. And sure enough, I mean, the cadence, the sound, everything came back the same. And I was just done. And then the breaking of the tree and branches and everything. And so, yeah, you guys took me back to the house and I stayed with the kids. And then you guys went back.
Yeah, because we heard the last thing I think we heard when she was like, okay, we got to go now, was this huff that the only thing that I can equate it to is whenever I've come up on a deer and startled a deer and they let out this to let you know, but much bigger than that, like much larger than that. We heard that. She was like, okay, take me to the house now. So we go back to the house, drop her off, and then I get a Bluetooth speaker and get my husband, and Travis and I then all go back out and we play it on the speaker, get some replies, continue with the whistle and replies, and then we decide we're going to drive back into the woods.
Oh, what happened here? Hold on. I have no idea what just happened.
You start talking about ghosts, Bigfoot.
Okay.
Things are happening. And it's our channel, ladies. It's our channel.
Yes. I was just thanking Kelly in the chat, and next thing I know, I'm sitting up there. Sorry.
You're fine.
So thank you, Kelly. I'm not texting.
So we play everything, and then we decide we're going to drive the gator into the woods because there was at the time a wide enough opening that you could drive the gator in, which is what we had done when something came up and slapped the side of it earlier. So we start approaching the woods, and when we get within, I don't even know, 30 feet or so, the loudest tree break I've ever heard goes, and I'm like, okay, we're done. We don't need to go any further. We can go back to the house now because already so we come back, and Ian's just sitting there like, so how'd it go? She's like, that was enough for me. She was like, that's all I needed. I didn't need to. But I didn't know that she saw anything until, was it later into the fray when we were being interviewed for Shannon's show that you mentioned it maybe? Or
I have a bad track record of like just running away from people and not telling them anything and then telling them later. So it might have been on a podcast that I finally,
I can't remember, but it was later. And I was like, how did you not tell me that you thought you saw? But I was the same thing. Like when we heard, like Anne was saying, when we were there for ghosts. So even when we heard that loud slap, which I know now as Bigfoot behavior, but when we heard the loud slap, we were just like, oh, that's okay. Something's here, meaning a ghost of some sort, because we'd been ghost hunting before and had noises randomly happen, sounds of door slamming or people walking or whatever. So we were like, oh, okay, things are just kicking off. But now we know better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after we got back, though, when you guys got back, it still was very. I mean, this is the whole encounter, the part of the encounter that makes me question Bigfoot versus like a shapeshifter type of a situation, because the second half of that, and maybe it was everything. I don't know, but we were outside. And we were doing the Estes method again, because why not try to talk to Sasquatch that way? I mean, just try everything. Yeah. And so we did this, and I think Corey had the flashlight, and you were on the Estes method, and he had the light, and I remember you saying bright to bright. And then we were looking up on this ridge where there was a tree and the silhouette was there, and then you said, see, you see me. And then I know that there was a lot of movement, and then at the very end you said something that was a nickname for one of the kids, and that's when we cut it off, because it was like it was crossing a line. And at this point it was more of the sing-songy, and we were back at the first vision of what we were both seeing when we were there, which was this entity that just seemed like I don't know,
jerk.
Like, yeah.
The jerk.
Yeah.
It's antlered, like tall, thin, like a skeleton type thing, but with antlers, and
So
it's
that's
arrogant.
creepy with antlers.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think
That's
that was?
we call him the trickster.
Mhm.
That's what we call him around here, but he's shown up a couple times, like as far as the image of him in my head.
Mhm.
It's shown up a few times, but the first time it happened was during the Estes method in the living room. And what is distinctive about when he comes around is that, because you can have, if you're familiar with the Estes method, you hear a bunch of different voices and whatever, but every once in a while there's something very distinctive about a particular voice. Well, it's not that this voice is necessarily distinctive, like it's super deep or anything, but it has a cadence to it, a melody to it. It's like a sing song, like it's really like it's really pleased with itself, is the feeling that I get. Just like it's real tickled that it's there. And when it comes on, everything else shuts down. The rest, whatever else has been coming through, doesn't talk anymore. That's the only thing that talks. And we've attributed all kinds of weird stuff here to it. Like there's something in the house that mimics voices. That all of us, the kids, Corey and I, have all heard each other in various times when we haven't been in the house at all, or when we're at different parts of the house and things like that. So we just chalk it all up. I don't know if it's the same thing or not, but we chalk it all up to the same thing. So I don't know, but it's said through the Estes stuff that we've done, things that have come up have been things about it being tied to the land, something very old. I don't know. I don't know what it is exactly, though.
Have you done cleansings and things like that at your house?
No, not really.
No.
Nothing serious, I guess I should say. Because I don't want necessarily all activity to stop either, which is a concern. But nothing super, super bad has happened, so I haven't gone that far yet.
Yeah. So Paranormal Paul just asked, he says, did anyone else hear a very slight whistle about 30 seconds ago? I did not. Did anybody?
No.
I didn't. 27 minutes. I'll write it down.
We'll go back and look.
Okay.
For people who are just now tuning in to Blondes and Booze, and it's one of your first times watching, we get voices on our shows, especially when Heather is on our show. That's happened before. And Brent also has a stalker.
Yeah, well, Heather, I think it happens all the time, but I think Heather just kind of, brings it with her too. I think she just,
well, you know
her
what?
ghosts are able to fly free.
I could find the last one. I don't know if we played it for you, Heather, but it was when you were on the show, and then it was at the end. I said bye-bye or something like that, and it said bye-bye. Did we play that one?
I remember you. Yeah, you played that one for me.
Because we were asking you.
Because I didn't hear it.
Yeah, because we were asking you, was the girls, maybe in there with you or something, and you said no, that they were not there with you. And I clearly don't know what happened there, but we did get an EVP that nobody caught except for our tech guy, and he caught it right at the end. He's like,
very end.
You guys got to hear this. I was like, well, okay.
Yeah, so pretty cool.
But I do find it kind of odd. I do find it odd that when you go out ghost hunting, sometimes out in the woods and things like that, that you do run across things like, Bigfoot, have an experience or things like that. I mean, but Chris and I have had, the opposite happen where we're out looking for the creatures in the forest and run across ghosts. I mean, we run across orbs, we run across all kinds of things. And so when you're telling the story, and I'm like, well, that sounds about right. I mean, I wonder if they're running hand in hand, or if they attract one another, or, like that frequency, or, if it's something that kind of keeps them together, because there's been many times that we've been out in the woods and have experienced ghost activity.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere for no apparent reason. Of course, we don't know all the history of each and every parcel of land we go on, but some of these have really just no history. Just nothing that you would say, oh, well, there is a tragedy there, or somebody's buried there, or, it could have been something as simple as somebody farmed that land. And so it gets kind of funny, because I understand, and it just makes me think about all the times that we've been out there and had this activity. Krista and I have not, that's not what we were looking for, and found it anyway. So I find it very interesting and really cool.
Yeah. We were at the LBL, and we're actually at Mount Pleasant Cemetery, and it was broad daylight. We were just walking around, checking stuff out. And Brandy was running her recorder. And she ended up picking up doors shutting. No doors in a cemetery. I'm sorry, but there's no doors in the cemetery.
Yeah. I've heard about things like that when it comes to Bigfoot, especially like the mimicking of like inanimate objects, even the sound of inanimate objects.
Right. So
weird.
I don't know. It was just really weird. And well, Martin just commented, but that evening we played it for him. He was there with us that weekend, and we played it for him. And it was plain as day that you can hear the door shutting. Broad daylight, middle of the cemetery.
Or opening.
Yeah,
either one.
Yeah, it was just really weird.
Just
so
had that down.
I can't explain that.
Exactly.
I think it's important to note that when you go out with people on these investigations, it's really helpful to have people that you trust to go out there with, that you can feel open about too as well. So like when Anne and I have these moments where this flash, like if we didn't feel comfortable enough to tell each other like, hey, this is what I'm seeing. Oh my gosh, that's what I'm seeing too. Then we would have missed that entire connection. I really want to emphasize, like, it's important to go out there with people that you trust and to be open-minded while you're out there as well, because if we weren't willing to say, okay, I had this experience and feel safe enough to tell each other, then we would have missed an entire piece to the puzzle. Even though we don't know what the puzzle is, so to speak, we still would have missed something.
Right. Absolutely.
And I do believe that. Because Heather and I went to Ohio State Reformatory together, and she kept telling me about this thing in the attic part. She's like, I can't really explain it. You just have to see it. She's like, we've tried to record it. We've tried to do this. We tried to do that. We can't get it, but it's there. And I'm telling you what, and she didn't even really explain it to me until I saw it. Then I'm like, oh, that's what you meant. That's what happened. And now I see it, and you really can't catch this thing. But it was absolutely a fantastic experience, and to be able to see it, but with like-minded people. You got to have those like-minded people. Otherwise the experience could be different. It may even close you off from seeing some of these things, especially if you have somebody who may be too much of a skeptic.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yep. Everybody has to. Yeah. We, Brandy and I, we're recent transplants, I guess, in the last couple of years to, the cryptid side of things. And we had the opportunity to go out Sunday evening with William Lunsford and Stephen Hill. And that was, wow. Like, I couldn't believe the activity that was going on there. I mean, it's just like these creatures, they're all over the place. I'm not saying it was Bigfoot, but I'm not saying it wasn't,
It was definitely something else. I'm just going to say that. It was definitely something else, because we were experiencing too many different kinds of phenomena to dismiss it. You know what I mean? We couldn't say, hey, this is, it could be whatever. It could be an alligator. Who knows? but we couldn't say that because there were so many different phenomena going on that it was absolutely fantastic. That's all I got to say about that.
including seeing red orbs.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. And that's the thing too, that like so many of these cryptid sightings, people are seeing orbs, not just red ones, but white ones. And people have seen all different colors of ones. So like, that makes me think, what is that? Is it, something morphing? Is it something coming through a portal? I mean, we just don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that? What would you guys,
Yeah.
What do you all think about that?
Heather?
I have no idea. I'm just bouncing ideas.
I do not know. Again, like you said, them occurring simultaneously happens an awful lot. And the times that I've seen them, I saw them once at a cemetery while we were there doing a ghost investigation. So that lines up with ghost stuff. But then the other time that it was really prevalent was on the Chestnut Ridge, and we were there for Bigfoot stuff. So it has overlapped with multiple things in my personal experience, but I don't even know what the lights are. I don't understand them. They're just literally a ball of light just there, and it moves and it seems to interact, and they're bright enough that sometimes with those you can catch those on camera. But I have no idea. I don't understand what causes them.
Me either.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. I mean, it's one of those things where with Bigfoot, I mean, I have gone over into the more zoological side in regards to Bigfoot, but I still have my feet firmly planted in the more paranormal and the possibility of like a shapeshifter or something else that's projecting, maybe there's something that can, I don't know, find something, it'd be like epigenetics, our ancestry, our DNA, and maybe it can read something in there and then it can present itself as whatever it finds within our DNA. So I think that it's a mixture of things. I think my journey has taken me to being more open-minded at the possibility of things being, both physical, like, the apers believe in the Bigfoot side of things, but also, but still being so paranormally bound too.
I agree. I almost think they're a little of both because, the instances that I've had in the woods, like when Brandy and I had our Bigfoot encounter, there was nothing but flesh and blood. Honestly, we heard it, we saw it. It was 100% flesh and blood. However, seeing these orbs out in the woods and hearing something, like circle you, what is that? Deer don't circle you. They don't stalk you. So it's just, I don't know. It's just a lot of weirdness. So I don't know. And then seeing, the orbs, can't answer that. Brandy, what do you think?
Yeah. I think they just attract a certain type of energy. Now I believe orbs are energy, because energy just never goes away. It just transfers from one spot to another. So I think that possibly Bigfoot or whatever kind of invites it or attracts it, kind of like a magnet would. And because you're hearing more and more reports on these, of the orbs being followed with, and I don't believe it's with every Bigfoot. It doesn't, it could be just, one here, one there, just like I believe that people who hone in their psychic abilities attract more things than somebody who basically doesn't. So, I mean, this could be the thing. I don't know yet. It's my missing puzzle piece.
Yeah. No, and I agree with that in regards to the more open that you are, the more, we're magnets. And I really do believe that everybody has the ability to use, different psychic abilities and stuff. I think that you just need to work that muscle out like you would any other part of your body. And then the more you allow yourself, then the more that you can see and experience. But that's hard.
Yeah, I always reference it to words like having a light bulb on your head, and the more you use it, the more you get in tune, the brighter it gets, and the other side can see that light.
Yeah.
So that's why people are more apt to have things in the night, or wake them up, or they can't sleep, different things,
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know, there's just a lot of it. I even think, like as far as like the metaphysics part of things, you hear people talk about mind speak, with like Bigfoot and Dogman and all of this stuff. My thing is that, I'm not saying that they don't, and I'm not saying that they don't hear things. However, on coming from a paranormal ghost background, the negative stuff, they're tricksters. So if you really, really want to, talk to a Bigfoot, why wouldn't they just appear as a Bigfoot to you and communicate? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're not talking to Bigfoot, but how can they be sure they're talking to a Bigfoot? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's just kind of my beliefs on it, because you hear that all the time. And like I said, I don't doubt them. I know they're hearing something, talking to somebody, but who or what is it? That's my thing.
Yeah. I mean, just we do talk about it. I mean, we believe that also when we're ghost hunting, you can't believe this is your aunt or your grandma or somebody, your loved one. You can't guarantee that's who you're talking to. It could be somebody pretending to be them to come through,
Right.
To get their message across or whatever intention they have. But not everybody can be wrong. I mean, they're hearing something for sure.
Right.
Definitely hearing something. But then again, there's another piece to that puzzle, that we're not sure what's happening.
Yeah, I have no idea.
What do you think the probability is of when some people are on a ghost hunt that that they themselves are projecting energy or actually affecting the meters, or that maybe what they're hearing in their mind is actually a different part of their subconscious coming through, but being perceived as something else? I know that's probably really unpopular, but I'm just curious what your take would be on that.
I absolutely believe that could happen. I mean, if you think about it, if you compare what you just said to like a poltergeist, that can be caused by children, girls kids going through puberty and things like that. So, they're manifesting that. So what is the difference in what you just said? I think it's possible.
Right. I mean, and that's the hard part is like, how would you be able to tell the difference?
Right.
Like, how would I know that, like, let's say you and I are out, Heather, and the poltergeist or whatever is one of us and not something that's there? Like, how do you,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Brandy?
I'm sitting here. I'm trying to think about that. Because that is a tough question. It really is. How do you know if it's something that is already there or something you manifested? It's or something that you did.
Right.
And it's very difficult to say. I guess as again honing your skills, we normally when we go into haunted locations, we have tendency, we're supposed to cleanse going in, cleanse coming out, so that way you don't contaminate your area, things like that.
Right.
But I can't really tell you, Anne. That is a fantastic question. That, I mean, because it's hard to validate when somebody says, "Hey, I'm seeing this color orange. I just keep seeing orange." When they're telling you these things that they're coming through, there is no validation until you run across that something of that color or something that is like, there it is, or it's very hard. It's very hard.
Right. Absolutely.
I'm gonna have to think about that one for a while. Yeah, I think you just gave me something else to ponder on. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, that's just not one of those things, That
Right.
was a tough one, and it sometimes,
Mhm.
things like that are the questions people ask themselves their whole life. How do
Yeah.
you know?
Right. Right. Well,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah, you don't. There's a quick question here. Well, there's a couple questions.
Mhm.
One, Johnny asked, has anyone been to the Mansfield Asylum?
Ooh, I think that's where I'm going next month. The Parapsychon.
Oh,
You know,
that's Mansfield Reformatory. If that's the same thing, I don't know because it's not the same thing.
I don't know. I'm not familiar
Oh.
with it. I've never been there.
Because
Mm.
I don't know anything about a Mansfield Asylum, but Mansfield Reformatory, which is where Shawshank Redemption was filmed, that's definitely
Right,
where you're
right.
going next
Yeah.
month. And yes, some of us have been there, or will be
Yes.
there very soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very cool. Awesome. Okay, one more quick question, and it's about back on the Bigfoot thing.
Mhm.
If a Bigfoot is a paranormal being, then why do people find large nesting areas? What do you guys think about that?
Oh, well, I mean, to me, that goes to, I think that it could be, like I said, a zoological thing, flesh and blood, but that there could be something else that's mimicking being a Bigfoot. So Bigfoot in this scenario wouldn't be paranormal. It would be two separate entities.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Perfectly said.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
I agree.
Yeah.
What she said.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, because when I made the statement, maybe the energy is drawn to them.
Mhm.
That doesn't make them, on the paranormal side of things. They're still on the cryptid side of things. It's just like if a person who has certain abilities, they can more likely draw ghosts and spirits to them versus somebody who doesn't hone in on those things. So, I mean, that could be true too, but that's only, my opinion. It's a theory. We don't know.
No, nobody knows. Nobody does know. And so
Nobody
that's why we're all
knows.
here, just, bouncing ideas, throwing thoughts around, Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is more for you. My question is, I mean, it's been thrown out there that people believe that Bigfoot could be more on the Fey side.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on that? I mean, because it's so elusive and you just don't know.
I mean, but I guess for me, what we'd be going into with that is that would be a shapeshifter. That would be if you take the Fae and maybe they don't want you to see their true form, then they could take on this other form. You know what I mean? So then it would still be the both, one being a shapeshifter, but it wouldn't be a Bigfoot, I guess. And then you'd have the actual zoological Bigfoot. I guess I'm stuck there.
Right. See, that's what I'm saying. We don't know. I mean, there's a whole lot of theories out there, and I mean, we've got to discuss them all. I mean, it'll put us that much closer to figuring out the mystery. So we really have to discuss them all. And honestly, there's no wrong answers.
Nope. And keep an open
Because
mind
we don't
on
know.
all of it,
Right. And that's where I kind of pivot here a little bit and get a little deep and possibly uncomfortable, because it is important to talk about all the different scenarios. I mean, even in psychology, we have the ability to mask. I mean, the human mind is completely fallible, and we are desperate to find puzzle pieces and create stories. It's just our nature.
Yes.
So you can have someone have an experience that has already a belief system within the realm of the paranormal.
Mhm.
And so it's easier for the mind to deal with trauma and create a scenario that might be a paranormal encounter. And I know that some people might say, oh, but why would I want to have this? Why would I choose, or why would my mind choose to have this really traumatic paranormal encounter? Well, because that's more outside of you, and it's still further away than if your trauma was with a trusted friend or a family member or something like that. And it can be really hard to decipher that, though, because to you, it's real. It's so real, like the chair that you're sitting in right now. And so we have to add that to the list on things that we should be looking into as researchers, and topics that we talk about, So what exists outside of us, and how much of it exists within us?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, when we're out there looking for stuff, we take nothing off the table. Everything's on the table. Because you really never know what's going to happen. And this question is more for Heather. Now, when you've been out there and you're filming and all of this other kind of stuff, have you had the Bigfoot experience with the paranormal side? Have you had that out there?
I mean, the closest, not while filming. It's very hard to have much of an experience while filming in general, because
Sure.
you're just so focused on not falling over in the woods while you're focused. Like either you're helping people who have their face in the camera so that they can focus, and you're walking, holding on to them or whatever. But the closest thing was in the Chestnut Ridge when we were there filming Sasquatch on Earth, and we were doing stuff for Bigfoot. And there were a couple knocks back from the one group, if I'm remembering correctly. But it turned more paranormal with the orbs, and then we heard this wind chime sound coming from the woods, which was weird. But I don't know. It's happened. It's just not all that often. And lately I've been of the mind that there's only so much that we can take. Like, if so much weird stuff is going to happen, if we could just cap it at, this is either going to be a paranormal experience, or this is going to be a Bigfoot experience, or whatever, and not just mix it all together, because that's a lot to handle. Mentally, it's a lot to process. And the next thing you know, you're second guessing yourself and wondering if you're going insane because of all of the experiences that are happening. And that's not fun.
No, not at
Yeah.
all. No, not at all. So there's another question.
Yeah, because we're gonna have a show. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, and then because it's a question that kind of goes on the metaphysics side of things. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just going to say that we were going to have a show, upcoming with William Lunsford and Steve Hill. We're going to talk about the things that happened, because I believe that a lot of things that happened when we were out could be both sides. And it was really weird, and it was something that I've never experienced before. So, we've got that upcoming. So I get what you're saying, that it is it's a lot to wrap your head around, especially when you're just beginning. When you're just beginning. I get that is very true what you said.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, so the question was here. It's a good question. And it's going over to the metaphysics side of things. So what do you guys do to ground yourself, or do you?
Well, I guess I'll go first. That's hard, because it's when do you ground yourself? For me, I know I should probably always do it, but it's kind of like, I don't know, I guess it's hard, because like in the situation with the Fairfield, and I just kind of wandered off, I was following this intuition kind of a thing, and so I can forget. But I think that the best part would be of course, feet on the earth, but also really connecting to the breath. The breath is life. And so those would be my two, nature and breath.
Heather, do you do any grounding?
When I have to. But in general, I don't necessarily know. If I get the feeling that I should, or something has happened, then I will. But it's the same thing that Lady Ann was saying, where you literally go stand on the ground outside, get your feet on the ground, on the earth. And then, of course, focus on your breathing. But that's the grounding that I've done, is to, and things have happened where they're like, especially after the EFSIS method, some weird stuff has happened, and the people that I'm with are like, you need to go ground yourself right now. And so I'll go out and stand on the ground. But yeah, I don't necessarily do. And, I don't necessarily do a ton of stuff before I go into anything either, because I don't want to cut stuff off. I don't want to be so guarded that I experience nothing either.
Right.
So yeah.
Brandy, what do you do?
I guess I'm like Heather. It just depends on what happens. If I'm going into a location that has or has been known to have dark energy, well, I might raise the wall a hair, but I'm not going to overdo it, because I do not want to cut myself off. But I am sure that I have everything prepared for when I come out of it, that I have everything to cleanse and to shake that off and to get rid of that. It is tough. It is tough. Now, I used to carry crystals and all kinds of stuff with me. And then I found for a long time that I was getting nothing. I was getting just absolutely no experiences. I wasn't hearing nothing. Nothing was happening. And then I'm like, why? And then I figured out I was overprotecting myself. Normally it's just when I go in now, it's the little prayer, basking in the white light a little bit, making sure that I am in my right headspace to go in. Because Krista and I always talk about, if you're not in the right headspace, or even if you're sick, just don't do it. You just don't know what you're going to end up taking with you. But again, it goes back to our conversation of going in with the right people, going in with people you trust, and stuff like that. I mean, normally somebody around me would be like, hey, yeah, you may need to go, get a glass of water and stand out the front yard. Absolutely. That has happened to me. You may need to do that. I'd be like, okay. Because I've watched people do that, where their attitudes have changed, like in a split second. It'd be like 1 minute they're having a good time, nice thing, and then next thing they're super depressed, or they kind of get a little angry, or I'm like, yeah, you might need to go outside.
Yeah.
And take a step back.
And I know we've all talked about this before, all of us, is about your intentions. So you put your intentions out there, and even as far as like bringing something home with you or something, like I verbally, like, nothing's allowed to come with me, follow me, you stay here, whatever, but it's all about your intentions. And I believe if you believe the words you say, then it works for protection and prayer. Same thing with prayer. I believe, you can pray and just say words, or you can pray and really mean and have good intentions. And that's what works, That's just
absolutely.
So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff here to it. So we had talked a little about metaphysics, and how long have you been like knowing that you had something going on with you?
So I mean, I've had experiences since my earliest memories, and I actually entered what we called healing group when I was 15. I started learning how to do Reiki, and I learned all about energy, and we'd sit around talking about like I think her name was like Madame Blavatsky and these different psychics and all this stuff, and it was such a wild time in my life because, here I was learning about the power of the mind, manifestation, energy healing, all this stuff. And I mean, there was even something about DNA, like unlocking DNA or something that they talk about. That was my dad's thing. And he actually had diabetes and cured it in all the realm of this stuff. And so I lived one life, but then I would go to school and it was a bunch of just normal 15-year-old kids. And I just did not fit in. I couldn't communicate with them. I felt like I was a world apart. So, I mean, and now too, I mean, I don't know if it's a shift of going from Texas to New York. There has been a massive shift in regards to the energy, synchronicities, manifesting stuff almost on the dot. It's all going into my second book. It's been, I mean, even Ken has noticed it, and it's been, I don't know, it kind of leaves me a little speechless here.
No, you're good. You're good.
But yeah, no. So it's just been amazing. I mean, even the house that we're going to, like it has its own energy and its own, like, there's just a breath of life within it and the land and everything. And I'm really interested because thank you, Heather. I cannot wait to see you. You are right along our route. We are staying with her on night 2 of our journey. And I'm so excited for Ken to get to visit where we had our experiences and for the kids to get to see each other again. I am just like, this is such an adventure. And I'm interested to see how your house will receive him, if he'll have any kind of, experiences, because he's very much a, like a shield. I've had a lot less happen, but when we're apart, it's different. And so that's going to be really interesting.
Well, you'll have to let us know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because that's like 2 different energies coming together. Now, sometimes it makes everything just explode in experiences. And then other times it dulls it. So I'll be interested in hearing what you come up with there. That'll be awesome.
Yeah. For sure.
So how soon are you moving?
3-ish weeks.
Oh, wow. Really quick.
Yeah. So, but we're leaving before May 1st.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. We're excited.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
You go from total hot Texas, southern Texas, all the way up to New York.
I'm such a forest fairy. Let me tell you, leaving Oregon was tough. I miss my ferns. I miss the forest. And I've been looking, there's like a bog nearby and there's like all this, forest, and we're surrounded by like the Catskills and all this stuff. And I can't wait to get out there and explore and really feel the land and the energy and just see what happens, So, and it's old. It's so old. And there's so many, I don't know, like there's this story that's unveiling itself every day. Like I even have the whole genealogy to the house that I'm.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was, so somebody had passed away in the house and they actually had a funeral there. And like, they also, they were part of like some war effort back in 1918, like trying to, for the efforts, of that. Like there's news articles about the family and stuff. And it's just been amazing. And so I feel like it's kind of like this little cottage, but it has this like big manor attitude.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting.
Awesome. Well, we'll have to have you back after you've been there for a while and tell us.
Yeah, tell us all about that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now,
That'll be-
Tell us about the night at Heather's.
yeah. Then
Right.
Heather, you've got to come stay with me, and we can maybe
Yeah.
do an investigation.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you gotta let Ann out there to see what she's got, and then bring you up to look at it.
Yep.
Mhm. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's really cool though. That I'm glad you guys are going to be closer and you guys get to see each
Yeah.
other more often. And
Yeah.
once again in Missouri.
Yeah. I can't wait for the kids too. They're so they're so
Oh, yeah.
excited.
Mhm.
I love
Yeah,
it.
I let my daughter know. I was like, they're gonna be coming because it'll be the middle of the week, and I'm like, just so you know, you don't have to go to school the next day because I fully
Aw.
expect you and your friend to be up all night playing and stuff.
Right.
And she was like,
Right.
really? I'm like, yeah, you
Aw.
don't have to go to school the next day, so she'll get a day off so she can party all night.
Oh, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's too fun.
Now, speaking of children, Heather, we'll start with you. What I mean, have they experienced stuff?
Yeah.
As
They have. When we were talking about Fairfield, actually, the first time that I went to Fairfield, there's something distinctive about that building in that everything inside is like this red carpet. So I can't remember if the walls are white or yellow, but the carpet is red everywhere, just long hallways of red carpet. And the next day, like I had gone to Fairfield, drove home. It was like a 3-hour drive. It was brutal to drive that in the morning, in the early AM, but got home, went to sleep. My son wakes me up early in the morning, freaking out because he'd had a nightmare. And I'm like, you want to talk about it? Because that's something we always do. Do you want to talk about it or do you not want to talk about it? Give them the choice. And he's like, I want to talk about it. He's like, I was being chased down this long hallway. There was red carpet everywhere by this really tall thing with a big smile. Yeah. And he which was something that one of our fellow ghost hunters had seen multiple times throughout his life. And but he describes this entity which he had never heard of, and I had never told spoken of the building at all. That was my first time there. I didn't know what it looked like. And anyway, that upset me because and then it was one of those moments where I said out loud, like, you can mess with me but you can't mess with my kids, kind of thing.
Sure.
Like, just keep them out of it. So that's happened. They've my youngest seems to be the most sensitive to things. My oldest has had experiences, at least one, but she's also of the age now where, like, she's a teenager and this is what mom does, therefore it's silly. And like, it's not the same. She's not open right now. But when she was younger, we had this doll. I thought this was the greatest thing ever because she's always been kind of skeptical anyway, but we had this doll that was supposedly haunted. And so we were doing the flashlight thing where we were asking, can you turn the flashlight on? Can you turn it off? And it was turning the flashlight on and off. And I had my two youngest in the room with me, and they're like losing their minds because it's responding like right away. And so we call my oldest in and we're like, you got to see this. It's actually working. And she's like, yeah, okay. Well, then turn the light on, like really sarcastic. And it turned on and she just froze. And then she was like, turn the light off, and it went off. And then she's like, okay. And then didn't want anything to do with it after that. But I was like, finally, something happened where she can't deny it. But no, but my youngest is extremely sensitive to things, to the point that, like, during the COVID shutdown, which I noticed a lot of people had increased energies that they were sensing during the COVID shutdown anyway. But that's when she started to like see things, have experiences, and we had to go through a whole protocol. Like, okay, we're imagining that we're in a bubble of light, and then we're going to expand that light. And we had to go through grounding techniques and stuff with her just so she could sleep at night, because she was seeing stuff constantly. But she's she's my little sidekick when it comes to like ghost hunting or anything like that. Or if we go out in the woods here, she wants to go,
Mhm.
but also gets scared still. I mean, she believes in all of it, but she gets extremely frightened. So like last summer when we were out, like, okay, we're going to go play some Bigfoot howls or whatever. And we're out in the woods playing these howls. And she's like, can you not do that right now? I don't, I don't, yeah, no, they've had experiences, and all three of them have had that mimic mess with them where they think that one of us have, like Corey or I, have said something to them, or they'll walk back in the back office and they're like, what did you want? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you just called me. And I'm like, no, I didn't. And they're like, okay. And then they just walk. I mean, it's just like, I don't want to say it happens all the time, but it happens enough that they're just like, all right, whatever. And it just kind of rolls off their back. But
yeah. Interesting. You're both of your guys' children are coming to the conference, correct?
Mine are.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the museum, the Ray County Museum is right there, and it's very, very haunted. And I assure you though, so my kids have been there many times actually. So just know they are safe there. So if they want to, do a little ghost hunting or something like that, there's nothing there.
Oh my gosh. R2 will ghost hunt over the camera because they're talking constantly on the phone or on like, I don't even know what they use to video
Facebook
each other.
Messenger.
Oh, Facebook Messenger. Okay. Like kids Messenger. And mine will she's like, Mom, I got to use your ghost equipment. We're going to go ghost hunt in the living room. And I'm like, okay. And so she'll take everything out and then virtually they do it. But you know what? That works because Ann and I have done that and had really weird stuff happen just long distance. So but they're little ghost hunters, and it's fun to watch them.
Well, see, it's like the young kids, they're the next generation of ghost hunters. So we have to teach them the right way, so they can continue all of our legacies, right?
Yeah.
Because Brandy's
I mean, we can't spend our whole lives doing this and then turn around and go, well, who am I going to tell? We've got to bring these kids into it. We've got to. My oldest daughter, she's a scaredy cat. She loves it, but she's a scaredy cat. She's more of a researcher. You give her the books, you give her the computer. She's the researcher. Okay, she's going to do that part of it. Me, I love going out there, and I love just getting into everything that I can get into. And my son, he's the middle child. He will he thinks his mom is cuckoo. That's that. We'll just go with that. He's like, okay, Mom, yeah, great, awesome, thanks. But my youngest daughter now, she's the one that's probably going to pick up where I want to leave off. She's the one very interested. She's the one that has had experiences from when she was very small, and she just keeps having experiences. She hasn't turned it off, so it's just gonna keep rolling. So, I mean, I got lucky with 1 out of 3. Ain't bad, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. My son, he could really take it or leave it. Like, he lives in a town where my old team used to go to the Pythian Castle, and he lived right there. So he would come over there. Him and his wife would come over there and ghost hunt with us during our events and stuff. But he really, don't care about it. My oldest daughter, she had a really bad encounter at a friend's house in Warrenton, Missouri, in the bathroom. There was a man in there that wouldn't let her out of the bathroom. Freaking out. So she wants nothing to do with it. She is petrified of it. Now, the 15-year-old here, she loves it. Her and Brandy's daughter, they're buddies. They like to ghost hunt. But then the other one here, the 13-year-old, she don't want no part of it. She don't care.
No.
So it's funny how it hits some kids and some it don't,
Oh yeah.
Right.
So I think my daughter, though, when that happened to her, I think, I feel like she's pretty open, metaphysically. And I think that's why she had that encounter.
Yeah, we had discussions with her, and we actually did a show, one of the early shows, and she talked about it a little bit, and that was it. She's even said she doesn't want anything to do with it. But Anne, what about your children? What have they seen anything that kind of weird?
Yeah, they we've had experiences together. Hearing a man walk through the house when nobody else was there, them seeing a shadow figure kind of in the corner of a room. I mean, it's been all over the place between a ghost and disembodied voices or footsteps and shadow entities, and everything. So, and then, whatever the youngest two of ours have experienced in their little hunts, of course, but they're very open to it. And they want, they don't mind coming to the conferences, but they are really wanting to be hands-on. They don't want to sit at the table. They want to be in the action, and so hopefully being at Mansfield will kind of, get that going for them a little bit more, because they'll be able to walk around. And I know that they have, activity even during the day, which makes sense. And so it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah, at the Ray County Museum, we actually, you spoke about daytime activity, and we've had lots of things happen during the day. And at one time we were
absolutely,
we were cleaning, and my friend Erin was sweeping the floor, and literally the dustpan slid over to her.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So there's a cleaning ghost there.
Hey, that's kind.
Yeah. And I think, because I've been to the museum many times, many times. And one morning I'm getting up and Erin's, she comes on and chat a lot. We decided that we were going to take the challenge. Everybody in chat that night decided where we were going to sleep in this museum. So anyway, so they put us in the hallway with the most activity. We heard some stuff, but her and I together sleeping like logs up there. We're like, we're out, and so I wake up and I hear somebody downstairs, and I'm like, okay, hey, they're making coffee. So I'm getting all excited going, I'm going to get some coffee. So, but I'm like, wait, I got to run down and use the bathroom. So, but when you go down the stairs, then you have to go all the way down the hallway to the bathroom. Well, I went into the bathroom, and then I shut the door. And then next thing you know, I heard these very heavy footsteps, broad daylight. These very heavy footsteps come all the way up to the bathroom door and stop.
Wow.
I continued about my business. I come out. I look. There's nobody there. I look down one hallway, and there, Paranormal Paul, who's in chat, he was down there in the chapel. He was sleeping. So I go all the way down the other end of this place to the apartment, seeing if anybody else was down there, maybe getting up, making coffee. You never know. I was getting excited. I get down there. Everybody was sleeping.
Oh, wow.
Everybody.
Yeah. So, yeah, because
Aaron was still upstairs.
Kathy and I were in the apartment of the museum. Paranormal Paul was in the chapel of the museum. And then, yeah, you and Aaron were upstairs sleeping. Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Aaron was upstairs and I came downstairs. Yeah, I mean, it just, this stuff happens in the daytime, just flat out in the daytime. So, but Krista and I let our kids run freely through there.
Always do.
We have no issues with them doing their own investigation.
That's
period.
awesome.
So when you bring your kids, I'm so excited. I'm like, bring them on. Come on.
That'll be cool.
Let's go have some fun.
They're gonna have a lot of fun.
Because I love to see that excitement. I love to see that excitement when the kids perk up. They're like, oh, let's go. You know, and then they get even if it's a little something, just that little thing, and they get so excited, and I love it. It's just, we've just got to pass all this information on. I just hope they're ready for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep, absolutely. Paul says, and towards morning, I was freezing cold, and I was right by a heater. Yeah. So in that museum, it was funny because the chapel, they used to also do funerals in that room. And I slept in that room one time. Kathy, who runs the museum, who you ladies will both meet. She's great. But she and I, and then Tony Pickman from Sally House and his wife, the four of us were sleeping in the chapel. And Kathy and I, we fell asleep. We were sound asleep. And it was funny because we were snoring in sync, is what Tony said. And he said that outside of in the hallway where Brandy heard the footsteps, he heard laughing, like a ghost was laughing at us.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's funny. That was funny.
Yeah.
So,
But I will tell you, I mean, I've told the story before, but I do have to tell on Krista because it was kind of funny. I mean, she got hurt. It wasn't funny, but
Oh,
it
God.
was funny. It was really funny. Yeah, because we're all in the apartment and we're sleeping that particular night. We're all in the apartment. And the next thing you know, she sits up, and you can tell she's a ghost investigator. You just know it because she gets up and she goes, "Get out of here. Not tonight. You're not supposed to be in here." And she's just giving this thing hell. You know what I mean? She's giving it the what to, what for thing. And and she's up on a cot, okay, and I'm on a mattress. So I'm kind of going, what's happening here? So I kind of look, and there was
something was playing with
Kathy
my leg.
has-
That's what it was. Is I felt
something was playing with her leg, right? And Kathy has cats. So I'm looking up and I see this cat rubbing on her from where she's laying in that cot. And it's just going back and forth and getting its little scritches. You know what I mean? And then
the cat.
and so she gets up and starts yelling at it. I'm like, okay, wait, it's a cat. It's a cat. So she starts laughing. Now, then she decides she has to use the restroom. Now I'm going to let her continue with this story because this is where she gets hurt, but then she's got to go to the restroom.
Oh yeah, it was a heck of a night, guys. Let me tell you. So I woke with the cat ghost. Brandy woke up and Kathy woke them all up, and I think even Greg Ogles was there. Was he? I think he was there in the other room sleeping.
No, I don't think, not that night. Not that night. It was someone else, but no, it wasn't him.
Anyway, so woke everybody up, right? So I had to get and go to the bathroom, right? So I worked my way into the bathroom and come back. And Kathy has a dog, and God love him. Jack is an awesome dog. You guys will meet him. He's wonderful. However, he's got a pillow that is right by Kathy's bed, which is right by where I was sleeping. And I went to step over Jack. Well, Jack decides to stand up while I'm stepping over him, and down I went. Oh yeah, it was just it was the most awful night's sleep ever. So once again, I woke Brandy and Kathy up, and then on top of it, that morning we had to get up because we had a ghost and overnight investigation at Malvern. So we had to.
Oh man,
Yeah, it was just it was awful. Let me tell you.
Yeah, and she broke some toes. Don't let her forget that. She broke toes tripping over Jack.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yes, we investigate the paranormal.
Yeah. So it was crazy. Yeah. It was but it was a fun night. Yeah.
It was a fun night.
Making it to Malvern. And Malvern Manor is another place that it messes with us. Brandy and I, we locked the doors, from all the humans and, from the outside, the living world. And it was she and I just there going to bed after an overnight. And Brandy was on one couch, I was on another. And Josh Hurds always says, ghosts don't bother you in this room. You get a good night's sleep in there. And I'd stayed there before and no big deal, Well, no, not this night. I guess it just knew Brandy and I was there alone because this ghost heard footsteps coming up to Brandy. I'm like, Brandy, you hear that? I was like, get out of here. Once again, leave us alone. Get out of here. So or Brandy, you woke up and then you heard it again.
Then I heard it. Yeah. Walked right up to me. Walked right up to the couch. I'm saying that. And then it walks off.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So it's just been interesting when we go places. So I wish you ladies the same luck as us because we've had a lot of fun.
Yes.
Thank you.
Memories.
Yeah.
That we've had.
But no tripping, no breaking anything.
Right.
Memories. Yeah, because now we can laugh about it. But man, that morning, I thought both Brandy and Kathy were going to string me up.
It seemed like every 5 minutes, it's just like just when you get back to sleep, here goes Krista. Then you go to sleep, here goes Krista. And you go to sleep, here goes Krista. You're like,
Yeah. Like, can we get any sleep? So
right, because we were traveling to Iowa the next day.
yeah.
Right.
So it was fun though. Yeah. So OPR says yes, has good footage of the manor house you mentioned. Yes. So need Techno or whatever, I can't ever pronounce his name. I actually met him at Malvern Manor. He is a good guy. I am subscribed to his channel, and he does have some good stuff on Malvern as well.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
He does. So yeah, crazy. So I wish you guys well. You're going next month to Ohio?
Yeah. So Parapsychon is on the 5th. No, I'm leaving on the 16th. 17th and 18th, or whatever that weekend is, will be in Parapsychon. So
yeah, I thought it was like a week or two after, because we have the Bigfoot Festival in Tennessee that Chris and I are going to on the 3rd. I think that's the 3rd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's so many dates that you have to remember them all. I
No, that's
I forget what's coming up.
Yeah.
Well, this has been fun, ladies.
Yeah, thank you. This has been great.
Yeah.
I've had a good time. And I can't wait to see you guys both in September. I think we're going to have a good time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's been great. I love swapping stories. Those are the best. Those are the best things I like to do on this show, is swapping stories. So, to me, they're always fun.
Yeah. You know what though? I got to tell on Tex. So Tex, whenever we can't, one of us can't make it on one of our shows, Tex always is happy to fill in, and we definitely appreciate doing that always. And so he cracked me up. So I got a text from him this evening. He said, if you need me to fill in for any reason tonight, let me know. So I texted him back. I was like, it's a ladies' round table. You won't fit.
You're not allowed.
That was just funny. So I had to tell on text. That was
Right. Well, with the storms going through here, which they calmed down now, but they're going to pick up probably about 11 o'clock tonight. But, with the storms going through, I never know, what kind of service I'm going to get. So he will fill in real quick for me, and which is absolutely fantastic. But he just, I mean, he was very bummed he couldn't come on here.
He's
I'm like,
yeah, he is. He's a good guy. But once again, I appreciate both of you guys. Seriously, we consider you both friends, and definitely, you guys need to start posting your pictures together when you guys do these things, so we can go along with you that way.
Yeah,
sounds good. Yeah, we can do that.
Sure.
All right. Until tomorrow night, everybody. Tune in 7 p.m. Central.
Oh, we got a real doozy. We got a real doozy tomorrow night, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Missouri State Penitentiary.
Yeah, we're doing Missouri State Penitentiary, and this is one you won't want to miss. I don't want to give it away, so just show up tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central. We'll see you there.
Yep, we will see you there. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
I got to figure out how to play this dang extra. They said.
Push the button.
I am
best
trying to.
outro.
It's not pushing.
The button's not pushing.
Oh my God. I'll just play it this
Live
way.
streaming. Gotta love live
Good night.
streaming.
This is the future. Evolution.
The Crossing Realms Conference launches September 19th and 20th and will dock in Richmond, Missouri. This is already being called the event of the year, folks, with an unprecedented list of speakers and special guests, 2 days of cryptids, UFOs, and paranormal presentations, along with a celebrity-filled ghost hunt, meet and greet, gallery reading, vendors, and a film screening. This promises to be both educational and fun. Go to eventbrite.com to secure your tickets and vendor slots before they are all abducted. They're going fast.
Wait, it's not ending.
It's not ending. Hello, everybody. We're still here. Let me do it. Good night.
Do it. There